score some jam at Knott's Berry Farm.
For sure, dog. We'll be kicking it old school. Bigfoot rapping.
Hey everyone, we're here at Knott's and we're gonna have a blast. Yep, we're back. It is the Passholder preview day, so we are here to check out how things are going to be working at Knott's. I am super excited. Unlike our previous food events, we're going to be able to go on rides again. Yay, rides. Masks are a requirement. We got our regular ones here, and we have some cheapos for when we're on rides, just in case something breaks or, flies off our faces or anything like that. You don't want to lose the nice mask. We'll let you know how everything goes when it comes to rides, and a bunch of restaurants are open, so come join us on our Knott's adventure. Let's go Berry Tales now. So here we are, we're in front of Berry Tales. It's the first ride we're going to hit. We literally just took a road straight over here because this has been on the list since they did the revamp. I want to see how it looks. 3D ride featuring the original old, before they even had the Snoopy mascots in the park. I just want to see how it's done. I see how well it is. I just want to see how they did things. I'm looking forward to this one. The line, looks like there's a bit of a line because everyone wants to check it out. It's the newest ride. So come on, let's check this one out. So, it broke down. I guess we're going to go on Ghost Rider? Let's do that.
Yeah, so we can come out here, but we are down right now.
Because this kind of put me...
Yeah, we're down, yeah. Sorry.
It just had to happen, right? Because we're doing the video. If we were doing the video, everything would be working perfectly fine. I assure you. So the gift shop is open. We have some merch based on the ride over here. So a couple of different characters. Coyotes. It's kind of strange. I remember when this whole store used to have a bunch of dinosaur toys. Because I'm old. Hey everyone, we're getting ready to go on Ghost Rider. It's the first roller coaster of the year. So I'm excited. Love this ride. It's one of my favorites here at the park. Sadly, Silver Bullet also broke down. So that's another thing we couldn't go on. Good news is the saloon is open. I'm gonna get a drink. And we're gonna go grab some sarsaparilla here at Calico Saloon. Alright, so we're relaxing here at our sarsaparillas. I like how they spelled there in the bottle. Cute. Been an interesting day thus far. Lines aren't that bad, I mean, considering the distancing and what have you. But going into two rides and having them shut down isn't the best. With Berry Farm, with Berry Tales, they ended up giving us a little pass for another ride, so we ended up going on. That's how we got onto Ghost Rider so quick. With Silver Bullet, not so lucky with that. We'd already waited a good 20 minutes or so before it shut down. We were getting pretty close, and it was... times I'm finding are varying wildly. Like sometimes it'll be 5 or 10 minutes on something, sometimes it'll be over an hour. There is no solid rule for anything. Except for earlier in the day, no one wanted to go on Bigfoot Calico Rapids, and now it's like a 45-minute wait or something like that because it got hotter as the day progressed. There's things I'd still like to do. I mean, it was fun doing the minecart again. I wish the train was active. The big train is not active. The small one over in Camp Snoopy is. All the Camp Snoopy stuff has pretty quick waits, so I guess I could do Red Baron today. That'll make me feel like I'm 8 again. Overall, it's been pretty good. I mean, it's because it's just past people. The park doesn't feel very crowded. This kind of reminds me of the crowd size of, say, a Scary Farm or thereabouts. It makes me curious how they're going to do Scary Farm. If they do Scary Farm. Everything, all things I've heard says they're going to. And if it's this size, I think we can do good. I just question on how they can do spacing in the mazes, but we'll worry about that when it gets there. And, October's a while away still. Overall, I'm still having a good time. It feels more normal. It's just like inching towards normal, and that's kind of the big thing. We are wrapping up our time here at Knott's, but of course we had to go out and grab some sarsaparilla. They have peppermint sarsaparilla, so of course we had to try that. But we're probably going to bring back several bottles because life is just better with sarsaparilla.
Our post thoughts on the Knott's annual Passholder preview days. So Knott's officially opens on the 21st of this month. So first few weeks of May are just mainly for annual pass holders. Just reserve a date in the time frame, and reserve a date, go to the park, and after you make that reservation, once that reservation is passed, you can go ahead and have a new reservation date. If you're familiar with the Disney Flex annual pass, kind of like the same deal.
I would also point out that there were a lot of people heading to guest services, presumably to do with their passes. Her parking didn't exist for some reason.
Parking wasn't reading on my pass. All the food festivals we went to previously, they didn't require a parking pass. So like when they scanned my pass in, because it has a parking on, it's like, we don't see parking on here. I'm like, okay, I don't mind paying about $20 because I love Knott's. I don't mind giving them my money. They've been doing such a great job with all food festivals. So like, okay, I don't mind giving like an extra $20, a tip or whatever. So thankfully we were able to resolve that like as we checked in at the gate.
Which was really nice, and thank you to the people at the gate. You guys were incredibly helpful.
Yeah, shout out Knott's cast members.
And I'll say this, we've had some good experiences with gate people lately, and I feel they're the unsung heroes of theme parks because they have to be there all day dealing with every other jerk coming through, especially families that have, 8 trillion kids and no one knows where the tickets are.
Scanning people in, and sometimes if you're at the gate you have to take photos of people, so you make sure that like the photo matches the person to the pass or the ticket.
So, thank you for not being jerks and for being really helpful and cool.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who's working at the gate. One out for you.
So yeah, we have the peppermint sarsaparillas right here.
Yeah, you want to take a whiff of that?
Can't open it.
And I have my Knott's Boysenberry Festival mug right here.
Need like a... I should have just pulled out my standard bottle. There we go.
Using the cuff of your pants to open up some sarsaparilla.
See, that makes me feel more cowboy though. Actually, if I put it against the edge of the desk and then just slammed my fist on the top, which I've done for beers before, that's probably the most cowboy way to do it.
And this is kind of like our new Eat the Magic office. We're going to beautify it a lot more. We just kind of settle into a new place. Well, what you think? Verdict so far?
It's different.
Different. In a good way? Yes.
Well, I like peppermint. It kind of feels like if you liquefied a candy cane, is kind of what it reminds me of, and I'm smiling. So obviously I like this.
So would you say like had a year-round drink, something special for the holidays? Because when I think of peppermint,
this feels very holidays to me. Yeah, like I said, I took a swig and it tastes like like a candy cane, and I'm like, well, that's great, and I love candy canes. It's probably one of my top 5 favorite candies, but it's odd in May. But if you miss the flavor of candy canes, go for this. Just like with the chocolate boysenberry, if you miss the flavor of a Tootsie Pop or a Tootsie Roll, go for that because it tastes like liquid Tootsie Roll.
Now this was the first theme park we visited after the whole like closure of all theme parks because of, well, the world. So what are your impressions of Knott's opening back up? Now mind you, this is like the first week they're doing this for annual pass holders, so the way I read was kind of like a dress rehearsal before things actually open up.
So I was thinking about that because prior to us going, I was very, very excited about this thing. So I was like, oh, well, all the food events have gone really, really well. The first one was a little bit, they were trying to get their footing. But after that, everything really went smoothly, like clockwork. All the spacing was done well. I never felt like lines were going for too long. They never ran out of supply. It was generally good. And so I came in with that kind of mentality. I didn't think about what would happen to rides that haven't really been utilized in a year.
So we missed out on Berry Tales, which is closed for like a majority of the day. So we got there around 11, decided to line up around like 11:30 or so. But by the time we got online, they said like, oh yeah, rides down, but we can give you like a fast pass type thing for like any ride in the park. So we decided to go for Ghost Rider. And we were just having some hopes, staying positive that Berry Tales would remain open sometime during the day, because I really like that Berry Tales gift shop where like, it smells like boysenberry in here. I love it.
It does. And while I remember when that thing used to have a bunch of dinosaur toys, I kind of like the boysenberry smell. The Berry Tales merch is cute. I wish I'd gone on the ride and had any idea who any of the characters are, but
who are these coyotes? I want to get to know who these coyotes are. I want to get to know who these bears are. Again, we come from the generation of Land of the Dinosaurs.
Kingdom of the Dinosaurs. Which I've seen ride footage of, and it's not as good as I remembered it. I think my little, 8-year-old brain, magically made it better. I don't know if anyone's ever had that experience where you're, did something as a little kid, and you go on the ride as an adult, you see ride footage as an adult, and you go, wait a second, no, this was way cooler when I was... I think there's something about the little kid brain that makes things cooler. Oh, you know what had the best dinosaur sequence of any theme park ride I've ever been on? Back to the Future.
I agree.
That has an awesome dinosaur sequence. Again, another ride I'm glad I got to go on before they closed it down. But
we also didn't have luck with Silver Bullet, because we were in line for a good half hour. And then half hour into it, it's like, oh, by the way, Silver Bullet's broken down. You can exit where you entered.
Yeah. Initially, they were like, you can wait and see. And we waited. We were just tired. We sat down on a ledge. We're like, okay, well, worst case scenario, we rest our feet a little bit before we figure out what we want to do next. And then at a certain point, after the third announcement, the person was like, please leave.
Because we were like, well, maybe they'll give us a fast pass so we can do Ghost Rider again. But no, Knott's cast member person was coming into the lines, and okay, never mind. Let's just go on.
When we were exiting, they had a cast member there, and I was like, oh, well, this will be the person who will offer the... Nope. It was just the person to make sure no one else came into the line, because they were basically done for the day. I think Silver Bullet opened up right before we left.
Yeah, just a little bit before we left. It was a half hour. It's just looking at the apps, hey, I know we're kind of on our way to leaving the park. Do you want to try for Silver Bullet?
And at that point, I was like, nah, forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have passed, so we could just make another reservation. No big deal. It'll still be there.
Yeah. And it's just, when you wait for half an hour to then leave and do other stuff, the last thing you want to do is go back and wait another half an hour. It's not like, oh, we have a thing that says we can go back to our exact position on the line. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, let's do it. Nope.
But we actually went on a kiddie ride.
Went on a couple of kiddie rides.
Well, 2 kiddie rides. The train, which I consider more like a family ride, and then the air balloons.
Which I think I did when I was really, really young. I have such a
Same.
very limited memory of that ride. And the only reason you did it is I think when you were going through the app and you were just listing off rides. And
you want to go on the air balloon race?
I'm like, I vaguely remember that one. And I think that one's just Flix Flyers / Emotional Whirlwind. And it basically is.
It's a Sidewinder.
It's basically the same as those rides. You're in a basket, you get spun around for a bit. They set us each as one person to a basket, which would work because I think if the two of us went into the basket, our knees would be crushing. We're too tall. This isn't designed for grown-ups.
But overall, it was a pretty fun day. I did see one of the Snoopy characters just kind of just doing his photo op zone. He was in the Camp Snoopy regalia. And I thought Knox did a great job with just enforcing social distancing and also just spreading out enough tables where people can either relax or have a drink or just have a snack. There wasn't much in like the food department. I mean, they did have a couple, like some of the boysenberry drinks, boysenberry latte at Ghost Town Bakery, but I think because they're still kind of, again, I just view this as a dress rehearsal until we have our official opening later in the month. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're still trying to figure out like just opening 100th anniversary snackages, and we'll just enjoy what's here. But I did hear at Coasters they have the Accelerator Burger, which is like a 12-inch burger type thing, and I'm like, okay, we need friends.
Yeah.
To help us finish this down.
A foot diameter is a bit much.
Like, shout out to like one of our friends who works at what was it, the Ghost Town Stunt Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if any of your Mayfield friends want to join us and downing that burger, like we should do a video sometime.
I want that stunt show coming back.
I hope so too. Like our buddy works for the who's part of the stunt show. He runs a dojo in South Bay. It's like, yeah, I want to see you back at the at stunt show.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bringing shows back anytime soon, according to California guidelines. But I love attending shows and watching like musical performances at theme parks. Like the older I get, the more I really appreciate like a lot of that work that goes into like just being a performer at these theme parks.
It's interesting because we're at a stage where not last year, so 2019-ish, and to some extent 2018, when we were going to Knott's, I was like, I wonder if we should go watch one of like the little Snoopy shows when they just have, Snoopy and his friends sing some songs at the Charles Schultz Theater. And we always never really had time for it, or we just were like, I'm not in the mood, or what have you. And I'm sitting here going like, man, I wish we'd done that, because I don't know when we're going to have a chance to watch Snoopy and his friends dance around on stage for a bit, teach everyone the value of friendship or whatever.
Because I think when we started getting annual passes, like the first show they had was Beach Blanket Beagle. I was like, okay, sounds like a cheesy summertime show.
It could have been fun though.
Yeah, but we saw the Not Summer Nights in 2019. I really liked the show that they had on there and the bands that they brought in and the characters they had.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The Summer Nights thing was a wonderful event, just to be put on top of, or what do you want to call it, to cap off your Ghost Town Alive adventure.
Also, we really enjoy the Not Scary Farm, like nighttime entertainment. Like, I regret.
I just realized something. I'm holding my sarsaparilla like Fast and the Furious style, where he just basically holds onto the very tippy top of the neck. I'm like a real person who does this. I don't know why it was like, I'm sorry, I'm doing my...
Showing the logo.
No, yeah, it's true, because that's probably why he does that. Man, I really like this, insert whatever brand it is, glug, 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 family. Let's go get into cars now that we just had alcohol.
Like I was saying earlier, I regret not doing Not Scary Farm, watching when Elvira used to perform at Not Scary Farm.
That was well before we were really
No, her last year was like the first year I went to Scary Farm.
Yeah, right. That was before before I got involved with any Knott's adventures.
Before Eat the Magic.
It may have been even predating Eat the Magic.
No, I think it's like around the time Eat the Magic started, but we focused on Disney first.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing Knott's once the Boysenberry Festival kicked in. Because when you think about food in theme parks, Knott's is not the first that comes to the list unless you're familiar, unless you're local who is familiar with the chicken dinner type thing. But then again, that's more of a local.
Our first Knott's video we ever did was chicken dinner when it was my brother's birthday.
It's my birthday.
Your birthday? Someone's birthday. Someone had a birthday. It was your birthday. I got the reservations and everything. That's right.
Yes, you did.
Man, come on, Jared. That was a Jared adventure. Getting that reservation and finding a time that worked for everyone. And never be the guy who gets reservations and stuff. It's always a pain. Let someone else do it. That's my advice.
Anyway, overall thoughts on Knott's opening for annual pass holders, pass holder preview.
I think if things were normal, I wouldn't. If a ride closed, it's like, hey, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
with things the way they are, it is kind of annoying because I really wanted to go on Silver Bullet again. I haven't been there.
Yeah, I really wanted to check out Berry Tales because
Berry Tales
this video was gonna be like our
for...
video for like opening. Like, yeah, Eat the Magic. Yeah, like we're reviewing a ride based on food. And now, like, okay, this video, the way it is, it's like, okay, let's just talk about our thoughts on, like, annual Passholder preview.
And Pepperminster Sarsaparilla. So those things were kind of annoying to me. Like, that was actually a huge morale crush when I couldn't go on Berry Tales, because if anyone's been watching any of the Knots videos, every single Knots video is Berry Tales win. And now, finally, that was the whole thing. Berry Tales now! No, or not. It's good. I'm going to go crawl somewhere and just cry.
Well, hopefully we have time where we can make another reservation. Probably when it's officially open, maybe they'll have more food out. I know Summer Nights is supposed to be making a return for the 100th anniversary.
I'm looking forward to all the 100th anniversary stuff. And look, I'm not trying to be a jerk who's like, oh, I had no fun. Or, no. I got to go on Ghost Raider,
yes.
Pony Express, the balloons, the mine. We went on the merry-go-round, which feels like it's like 5 seconds away from collapsing. If anyone's seen that episode of Bob's Burgers where they're at the wharf and Tina has her like horse on the merry-go-round, that's what the merry-go-round reminds me of. That merry-go-round where it just looks like it's about to completely crumble. We did a few other things. The train, the Camp Snoopy train. We didn't do the Red Baron. And we didn't get on Accelerator either.
Yeah, Accelerator was a 40-minute.
That was consistently a wait on that one. And then we skipped. The one that always had a low time on it was always Hang Time. And I know that's for a couple of reasons. One, I think there's a lot of people in my category where that ride just gives them a massive headache. It's not particularly scary. It's just irritating because it's a 90-degree incline initially. And all the blood just rushes to my head and I get such a bad headache. I can't even enjoy the rest of the ride. And I remember when we did that, I was just like holding my head afterwards and I'm like, okay, let's find a place where we can just get a drink and sit down because my head feels like it's about to split in half.
I am much more tinier and smaller than you, and I feel like I'm gonna like fall off. But after that incline, everything is fine. But just like that incline's like, don't die, don't be blown away by
the wind. And the whole gimmick of the ride is 90-degree incline, and I'm like, that's the worst design decision ever. Apparently, small people feel like they're gonna fall off. And taller people feel like their heads are going to pop from all the blood rushing to it. And I guess unless you do this the whole time, you like do crunches or something, and I guess maybe you won't have the blood rushing to your head.
All right, we're looking forward to the 100th anniversary celebration coming this summer.
What I was going to say is that I feel that that's the reason why that wait time was so short. It's like everyone's like, that ride makes me miserable. I'm not going on that. And I think the only reason that line never gets long is because it's rowdy teens being like, oh man, look how cool, 90 degrees, and then afterwards like, ow, my head. Or, oh god, I thought I was going to fall out. And then, But all the annual pass holders are like, I've been on that ride, I hate that ride. Where's Boomerang? I miss you, Boomerang.
Okay, Boomerang.
It was a great ride.
It is.
We didn't get to go on Montezuma's Revenge, which didn't have that long of a wait either.
It's about a 20-minute wait.
It was just where we were at in the park most of the time.
And Jaguar was like a 25-minute wait according to the app. But after that, there's a point during the day where you just don't want to like just be standing in line for like another.
It didn't get extremely hot, thankfully. It stayed in the 70s.
You just wanted to sit on a bench and enjoy a cool breeze.
Yeah.
Or sarsaparilla.
It was more the fact that, like, I still feel like my legs have not adjusted to the theme park every weekend kind of thing.
Yeah, you've lost your theme park legs.
I have lost my theme park legs. Because I went a whole year where instead of taking walks on a daily basis to keep my legs ready to go, I didn't because scare tactics of the media were like, if you go out, you will die. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stay home. I don't care. And I feel like I'm in a better neighborhood now, so I should start taking walks to get my legs back up to walking several 100 miles in a theme park in the course of a day.
Anyway, looking forward to the 100th anniversary celebration this summer.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some good food. There's probably going to be some fun shows.
Looking forward to more merch.
Really, really wish the Birdcage Theater was open. I'm sure they could put on a really hilarious 100th anniversary melodrama. If that's okay. Also, same thing with the stunt show. I'd love to see something themed up with the 100th anniversary a little bit. And we'll see what happens with shows. But food should be good. There's going to be tons of merch. Berry Tales will be working perfectly fine probably in the next couple of weeks. And I get that this was like, the very first day?
first weekend for preview
so I'm
annual
not
pass holders.
shocked that, like, you know, one of the most popular rides got worn out a little quickly, Silver Bullet.
Again, I just use
And
it as
the
a
newest
dress
ride got had issues because new rides always have issues. And
sometimes you just have to wait a little
just
bit.
you know, could have happened at, like, say 12:30 after we were done with the ride and eating lunch, and would not even be aware that it broke down. That would have been better for me, so then I could talk about how much I loved and or hated fairy tales. But I had a fun time. If you are going, and you can make reservations still for a couple weeks now, I think.
Yeah, you can.
You should probably just go in with a mind of, we're just going to go on what we go on, and don't go saying, I must go on such and such. Because if it isn't working, you're going to be massively disappointed. And while you can bounce back, it's still going to stick with me a little bit. I'm like, man, fairy tales, what the heck? So come in with that kind of mentality. Go there, enjoy a burger at Ghost Town Grill, or, you know,
I'm so happy
a
Ghost
slice
Town Grill is
over
open.
at
It's my favorite
Pizza
restaurant.
Wagon, or go to Coasters.
Tater tots, Calico tater tots.
Calico tater tots. Go to Coasters and get a foot in a circumference burger. Or foot diameter, rather. Foot circumference is different. That'd be much smaller.
Accelerator burger, that's like
Yeah.
a 12-inch stack burger.
I don't know why that you need a burger that large. Accelerator burger feels like it should be, like, spicy, not huge. Whatever. Anyhow,
And don't forget to get funnel cake.
yeah, which we didn't.
It's alright. We got our sarsaparilla and that makes me happy.
And, or fudge. You can always end the day of fudge. That's how we
They
did.
always have different flavors.
When
I
we
always
started
appreciate
going
the fact they
back,
have different
yeah.
flavors. And I actually picked up the Knott's, I forgot what the title of the book was, but it's kind of like 100 years of like Knott's Berry Farm, because I like collecting like theme park books. I just like collecting, like just having like old photos, just kind of like a coffee table book of Knott's Berry Farm. Because I already have like maybe one or two of that of Disneyland. Like, yeah, I need Knott's as part of that family.
Yeah, there's a lot of history and a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, 100 years, you know.
One of the fun things is always to hear about the history of Scary Farm as well, of how that began, and the fact that they had people inside the buildings, like just trying to scare people looking in the windows, and like, that's great.
All right, 100th anniversary. Here we go.
Yep. But I'm gonna say it again: fairy tales win.
Soon, hopefully soon. And remember, eat the magic.
It's my line. Just stealing my line, so.
Okay, then you say it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You already said it. I'm gonna go over here.
All right, like and subscribe. Check out our bio of ways you can support us on Ko-Fi and on Patreon. And remember, eat the magic.
We haven't decided yet. The future is what you make of it, and we're going to make it a good one.
Go.
Hey, we're here at Knott's, and we are going to have... Oh, there's supposed to be a boom. I was going to say a blast, but it's going to be hilarious. You're going to fall into the seat laughing.